That ends for many of us when we get out of the military and we have to go back home to our hometowns that we maybe went and graduated high school from. And then we're a different person and we get to see everyone else who was on a path in their life. And for us, it's almost like our journey ended. And there's this stop loss inside of me anyway. And I felt very like a hole. It was just something was missing.
Return to Roots Podcast. Welcome to the show. Today we bring you Marc Garrett. He was a Marine Corps veteran, or he is a Marine Corps veteran. He served for 17 years and is now here to share about his story. Without further ado, welcome to the show, Marco.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
Yeah, brother. Hey, thanks for coming on here, man, and sharing your story with our brothers and sisters out there, the ones that are about to go through the transition, the one that's already transitioned. There's going to be someone out there that's going to resonate with your story, Marco. So thank you for coming on here and sharing it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Hey, brother. Before we get too far into this, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
So I have a cell phone. You can reach me.
All right, we put Marco's LinkedIn in the comments. Take a look at that. We didn't want to share his phone number on our platform.
Awesome. And everybody, we're going to be putting his LinkedIn profile into the comments. So please go on there, connect with Marco on LinkedIn, because that's honestly the best place for us veterans to connect with each other without seeing everybody's breakfast on Facebook. So,
Yeah.
Hey.
Good point. Yeah. Good point.
And Hey, man. I'm a foodie too, man. I like food, and that's why I'm a well-rounded veteran sailor.
Nice. Very good.
So, bro, let's just dive right into it, man. Like, what kind of books do you recommend our veterans that have already gotten out and are going through the transition? And what do you recommend those service members that are about to go into the transition to start digesting? And it doesn't have to be just books, podcasts, any kind of content that's out there that would really help people get in that right mood.
Well, okay. Something I would recommend, and I just finished it. Actually, I didn't read it when I was transitioning out because I didn't really know that it existed back then. But The Power of Now actually is a book that I just read. And it was pretty profound because it really does say, I'm 43, so I kind of look at life a little bit differently than when I was in the Marine Corps at 17. And even getting out, transitioning, I had a different perspective on life as far as, well, what do I do now with myself? And had I had that book 20 years ago when I got out, then it would have been probably a little bit easier to understand that focusing on what you can do at this moment, not worrying about what the future holds or what happened in the past, but like, what can I do today to better myself in my future? It really does put into perspective, just being present in the moment. And because my biggest challenge getting out was I was depressed. I didn't want to get out. I felt like I was being forced out, and I was telling you earlier, I got NJP'd. That's the reason why I left the military. I still got an honorable discharge. I was still able to get my benefits and my disability. Albeit there's a lot of things that I'm learning just in the last couple of years that I wish I had learned when I got out of the military. A couple of things like that just starts with the books, reading. The Power of Now was a great one. So does that answer the question as far as that goes?
Oh yeah, man. That's good, man. And that's like the thing is, you're only limited by, you're limited by yourself. And if you want to do more, then you need to start reading more and start digesting these books and these stories. And it's good to read. It's good to listen. It's good to watch things that are out there. Give me somebody that's got 1,000 books underneath their belt, and I'll tell you what, they're probably doing better than someone that is someone that
Yeah.
has gone through a college education. In my mind, I think 1,000 books equals a college education.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And like you said, the podcast too. So the Mindset Mentor was one that I've actually listened to for many, many years. And I just love the fact that he's very bold. He gives you a short 5, 8 minute spiel about some things just to change your mindset. And I think those are pretty powerful things to do. And mindset really is what it's all about, because the type of individual or the character it takes in an individual to say, raise my hand, I do solemnly swear to protect and defend the Constitution, takes a certain type of person, right? Uh, but it also takes the kind of person whose willingness to be open to a new type of mindset. And that's what happened with all of us military veterans. We got to go experience that military mentality. And we had fun. I had a great time. I had fun. It was the best thing I could have done. I got to travel. I got my education paid for. I got just to see some amazing places and meet amazing people. But a lot of that ends for many of us when we get out of the military and we have to go back home to our hometowns that we maybe went and graduated high school from. And then we're a different person and we get to see everyone else who was on a path in their life. And for us, it's almost like our journey ended. And there's this stop loss inside of me anyway. And I felt very like a hole, was just something was missing. And it took me about a year to finally pull my head out of my ass to say, okay, I can do something about this. But I had a lot of help and encouragement. But it wasn't even from military organizations or organizations like this. So because I didn't know to get involved into it, and I was too depressed to even consider it. So that's kind of what happened.
Bro, you're not alone, man. And that's the thing. It's like most of us veterans, we suffer alone, and we don't reach out to each other. I mean, look, man, I've been that big, you know, the big swing and whatever you want to call it. I was an E8 dude. Like I had a really chill. I could have just been really chill, man, and I had all that. What do it's hard to explain, man.
Built
Like,
up
Pent up
aggression.
aggression.
yeah.
That's what it
Just
is.
give me
That's
a
what it
cup.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You guys, ha
You
ha
got it,
ha.
Yogi.
Both,
Got you a
both
Coke,
at the
man.
same time.
And
So,
a side of fries, buddy. You got it.
yeah.
There you go.
So, you know, I was, and then all of a sudden you're out, dude. And then that shit doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. It all just,
You wake up at 6:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning, you go, oh, I'm gonna go for that run. And then it's like, yeah, no, it's not everybody, right? It's not everybody. I think a lot of people did come home and they had that stability. But for me, I felt like my mom and dad were not a stable, environment. I came home to a wife, and it's like, what do I do now? She's so used to me being gone. She'd basically created a whole life for herself. And I created a whole life for myself. And all of a sudden now we are together in the same room for months and months and months. And I'm like, who are you? What are we doing here? Why are we here? What's happening? It was very weird.
I think this also like brings up a good point. It's like you're like super frustrated with yourself because you're used to being that provider. You're used to being that hard charger. I mean, shit, man, you're a staff sergeant in the Marines, dude. Like
Doing all
you,
right. Yeah.
yeah, you're doing all right, man. I've worked with the Marines. I know how they operate, man. There was one point in time you could probably even find a picture of me in some Marine uniforms.
Oh,
Um, so I know, man, those staff sergeants,
yeah.
bro, they're sitting pretty high.
Yeah.
I, yeah, and you come home and then you're trying to like deal with all of that, and your wife is trying to be uh, a part of you finding yourself, and it's just really frustrating. And there's like I mean, dude, I've had days where I'm like, what in the F am I doing here? It's like, what am I doing? Like, and it's just like all the stuff just boils up, it happens, man. But moving forward every single day, man, and then leaning on your wife and leaning on those people that you put around you, keep you going forward, man. And that's why it's so important to have that tribe. You got to build that tribe.
Yeah. So, my one thing I would definitely recommend, and this is something that I don't even know if it's out there. I'm sure it is, but go out to those veteran organizations before you get out of active duty. Go visit your Elks Lodge, go visit your DAB, go visit your local chapters of whatever there might be out there. Wounded Warrior Project is huge. Get involved. Start building connections now with these individual groups. Because they're looking for you. I mean, we're looking for you. I'm wearing a DAV hat. I love working with veterans, and it's something I've actually just started to do in the last couple of years. And I did it out of pure selfishness because I was lost and I didn't have anybody to tell me, well, what can I do next with my benefits? Because I'm only rated at 30% and I wish I had more. And so I was very selfish getting into the programs, but as I started to see what they were doing, I was impressed. And I felt like I was in a room full of people that understood me. So I stuck around and I kept coming back and I kept coming back. And, the individuals that I get to hang out with now, we have built a bond, a friendship. And it's like, we're going to go golfing this weekend. It's that great. And it's only been about 2 years, and I feel like I've known these guys forever. And I wish I had gotten involved in these programs a lot sooner before transitioning out of the military. It would have been so much more helpful. And I can think of many reasons why.
But do you think you would have listened to yourself? If you could go back in time right now and you could tell that staff sergeant before he got out, he's like, "Hey, dude, go get involved." Would you listen to yourself?
I would say yes, only because I've always been searching for something to do. But for me, I'm very selfish with my time. Like, I like the time that I have that I get to spend with myself or my kids. So it is hard. And then I drag my kids to these events and they're like, Dad, no, not another one. And I'm going, yay, cause they
Sounds
don't
like my
quite,
kids.
yeah, they don't quite get it. And I'm just like, oh, you have to understand, guys, this is still my connection. This is something that I did that you will never know because you were all babies when I was in. And you see a photo of me in a uniform and you go, Dad, what's this? Well, who is this guy? I was like, that's me. That was, I have a 17-year-old now. And his birthday was in March. And I said, fun fact. Your birthday is in March. I graduated high school in June, and in July I was on the Yellow Footprints and I was your age. And he's like, damn, Dad, no way. I'm never going to the military. I was like, I don't blame you, but just know the perspective. Life is different for you than it was for me. I could not wait to join and get out of the house. And he's like, nope, I'm fine right here. I've got my internet, I've got Hot Pockets in the freezer, and I've got anime all day. And I'm like, must be nice, man, because that
Bro,
was not my
Hot
life growing up.
Pockets, anime.
Yeah,
Oh, man. The kid's got it
yeah.
made.
For our audience, if they remember the First and Goal project, Marco and
Hmm.
his son both came up live
Oh,
and
that's
shared
right.
their
Yeah.
story. And to be totally honest, the entrepreneurship, the knowledge, and the guidance of his son greatly impressed me because that is not something that a traditionally, I would say, 17-year-old has. It's very, very few, far in between. And the things that he's doing and what he's executing in order to be able to provide for his own adventures, it's fantastic. And that can only be learned by the example set by their parents.
Yeah. Thank you, Yogi. Appreciate that, man. Yeah. He is an entrepreneur for sure. And he gets that from his mom and I, I'm sure. And, he does 3D prints and it's cool, but he's learning. Like he sat out to make a chessboard the other day and, he's learning. Oh my gosh, this is so hard. Um, but I think that's kind of the point of this show, right? It's what we didn't know then that we know now. And that question, would I have listened to myself? I think I would have, because I would have definitely been in shock and awe that, oh, here I am in front of myself, older, and I could go get involved, and knowing how that would impact my life today. Absolutely. Yeah, there was definitely some things I would do different. And right when I got out, like, applying for all my VA benefits, it took me almost 5 years before I even applied for benefits, because I didn't even know that I had benefits. And it just so happens I go to the doctor one day. I'm like, hey, I ain't feeling good, man. And he's like, oh, okay. You were 0 rating for everything, and now you get 30%. I was like, oh, wow. Yeah.
Do you think a part of you was because of the negative reasons that you were going through it was kind of a feeder to the whole entire reason why you didn't want to go do that stuff, or didn't actually go do it because of those negative things that were just happening? You're just like, I'm done.
Well, financially, I don't think I didn't really set myself up for success. And again, this is another thing. If I was to tell myself younger, I had investments, and I had stocks and bonds, and I had sold them for things that I thought I needed at the time, which I don't even have anymore. I would definitely try harder to do things to maintain my lifestyle that I had, because getting out of the military, making the income I did, and then now you're out, you don't have it anymore. There was really nothing set up. I was fortunate enough to get a job. Eventually, I actually worked for Crocs as their IT, because that's what I did in the Marine Corps. I was IT originally. And I worked at Crocs for a couple of years, and I did their IT. I ran their server and a bunch of other things, their little handheld scanners and stuff. And it was great. Money was great. And I went from there to an IT company, and I liked IT. I did a lot of talking with customers and clients, and it was always just turn your computer on and off again. Okay. All right. Yeah. It's easy, to figure it out, but
Did you just tell them to call OneNet, or tell them to call NMCI?
yeah, pretty much after a couple of years, Basetel all got outsourced to, AT&T. So my job, I originally went in as a pole climber to climb telephone poles. Why, I don't know. But
You don't get
the
excited.
yeah, the year after I graduated, they're like, nah, this MOS we don't need anymore. I was like, okay. So I became a radio operator. I worked on the howitzers, 666s, and I got to go out to infantry battalions. And I thought I wanted to be a scout sniper, so I tried out for Force Recon, and I made it through Hell Week, and then afterwards got injured, and I was like, oh, this sucks. It's actually why I have my rating, because I fell off the back of a 7-ton and fell onto my pack, and I just got caught. I don't know. Fell, hit my back, messed me up. So I had to drop out of that. And then I went into McQuist, as I did diving and scuba, taught and trained swim qual. And then I got orders to the drill field, and I was like, oh, this is great. I can't wait. And I remember having to retake the ASVAB for whatever reason. So I retook the ASVAB, and then I get orders a couple of days later. They're like, hey, sorry, you're not going to be a drill instructor anymore. You're going to be a recruiter now. I was like, wait, why? I want to be a DI. And they're like, nope. You scored whatever you scored on the ASVAB, you're qualified to be. I was like, oh man, that's not what I wanted. But it worked out. It turned out, I guess. Okay.
If you could go back in time to share, your transition was unexpected, right? Um, if you could go back to your service member self and say, hey, these are the things that will make you be successful to transition, what advice would you give yourself, and how early?
That's a loaded question, Yogi. I wouldn't have gotten married, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, I'm sorry. Not that I regret being with the person. I just felt like I would have had way more fun. I think I missed out on a lot of things.
Uh,
I'm
this
just
conversation
saying.
suddenly got awkward.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hey, That's the God honest truth, though. I would definitely, because there's just some things that now I look at it and I go, man, if I'd have just been, but the money, I saw the money getting married and I thought, oh, that might be nice to have, and that whole life and everything. And, um, so yeah, but other than that, being that we can't take that back, the next thing I would say is invest more in properties. Um, take that three, 30 rule. Take 30 of your income that goes to savings, 30 of your income for your bills, and the other 30 you spend it. Um, getting out of the military with a 800 credit score is not hard at all. And as a matter of fact, if you play your cards right, it's very doable. And reach out to somebody. I'd had investments. I did very well in them actually, and then I just got greedy, I guess, and stupid. So I would definitely tell myself to stay away from certain stocks and other things. Um, I volunteered for everything. I would definitely tell myself, keep doing that. I went on every deployment I could go on. Um, pretty much it. Just have fun, enjoy it. It was great. you know, but my duty stations, it was kind of unfair. I was 18 and I had been to Hawaii, my first duty station, Kaneohe Bay. From there, I
Oh
got shipped off
man,
to
that sounds
Japan,
horrible.
Okinawa. Yeah, and then from there, I rode a
Okay,
ship.
man.
Yeah,
How
to
did you do it,
Australia.
man?
I don't know.
Australia? Oh
Yeah.
man, that's horrible.
Well, it was great. I think it was amazing. I got to see some cool stuff, and then I got to be a recruiter in Las Vegas, and it just it felt like I was on the right path of life because I just got to do so many things. But I got lost in my plan, what I wanted, and I should have just had more faith in letting things play out. But you live and learn.
Yeah. You know, I feel like you really nailed mindset, bro.
And
And
long journey, man.
yeah, I definitely feel like you nailed that one. But what did it take for you to find that purpose? The
Ooh.
thing the thing that drives you right now. And I feel like you kind of let in on it a little bit earlier, but I'd like to hear a little bit more about what got you to that, bro.
So I am I guess I would call on a spiritual journey right now. About 3 years ago, I had separated from a relationship that I was in. And because I'd been divorced already about 9 years, and now here I was coming to an end of another relationship, I started to look at what could it be is wrong with me, I wonder. Uh, mind you, I have never been diagnosed with PTSD up until I took a test. I actually did what's called, well, let me back up. A friend of mine said, Marco, you're an asshole. I hope I can say that, but he straight out said it. He's a very close friend of mine. His name's Dominic. He runs the Trinity Veteran Program. It's a program that's great. It helps women, children of military vets, and they have a fishing trip that they do twice a year. Um, but he's been a dear friend of mine for probably the past 20 years. And he said one day, he's like, you're just an a-hole, man. But I have some program that can help. It's called Bud's Odyssey out of Irvine. I said, okay. Well, I'm not interested. Thanks anyway, though, buddy. And for 2 years, this kid, he would come up to me and tell me, hey, you should try the program. I was like, what is it? I don't know. He goes, well, they basically do a mind map of your brain. They send Bluetooth signals through it, and they're going to fix your PTSD. I was like, I don't have PTSD. Shut up. And he's like, no, I think you do. So I see the doctor, Dr. D. Sienna in Irvine. It's under the Bud's Odyssey program. I walk in, they do the assessment, they have me pee in a cup. A couple days later, he goes, yep, you got PTSD, bud. Here's all the things that's wrong with you on a chemical level. I was like, that's interesting. So what do I do next? Put me in a chair, and about 3 months go by, and I start to feel progression of, being able to reset that mindset of everything sucks and I just want to like, ugh, that constant, just always being on alert. And any veteran who's gone through the military boot camp they're in that constant state, right? So went through the program and I started to see things clearer, and I started to have that mindset that you're talking about, where I was actually able to think clearly and say words and not just mumble shit. And I got to experience how relationships started to change just in the last 3 years. Oh my gosh, this is pretty impressive stuff. Okay. So then I got this bright idea where I wanted to use my benefits and I wanted to help more people, because I've been working with veterans from the disabled American veterans, and they're all injured. Every single one of them that are in there is injured. And I got to thinking, how can I help these people? I don't have the money to financially do it, but I can take my time. So I went to massage school. I became a therapist, and I do what's called myofascial therapy. And this uses what's called a proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. It allows me to manipulate muscular and bone and tendon in people to help basically restore their muscle tendinous fibers and back to being, for instance, I mess with a lot of people who come in limping and they can't walk. And after about 30 minutes to an hour, they're walking without a cane. So with the whole mind mapping and the Bluetooth brain mapping program through Bud's Odyssey, and going to massage school and having a lot of energy work done, it changed my perspective. Almost like a veil was lifted, and I was able to see things a lot clearer. And so things that were important to me, things that mattered, stopped mattering. They stopped being so important. And I started focusing on people and making connections and having relationships and being able to sit down and listen to people long enough to understand what their needs are and help them. But that's been my journey recently.
The chemical process of you saying peeing in a cup and that rendering some kind of information about PTSD. It's curious to, from an outside perspective, to see that your body's having a physical manifestation to a mental, what would some people would think is only purely a mental condition.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's scientific facts out there, though. And there's a lot of organizations, and this is exactly why doing shows like this is great, because even there's things that you guys don't know about. And so this opens you up to new programs. And I'd love to get you in touch with Bob Kingsbury over at Bud's Odyssey. I mean, I have his number. And
Absolutely, that would be
yeah,
fantastic.
because these programs that, again, every one of us who has been a veteran going through any transition, going through boot camp, going through breakups, marital relationship, whatever the case is, we've got some sort of PTSD, even if it's at our job, right? And being that we're veterans, this program is 100% free. So, and because I've been doing a lot more spiritual type of searching, I've found red light therapy and how effective it is, sound bowl therapy and massage therapy and chiropractic. And they have these weightlessness tanks that you can get into, and cold plunging, and just a lot of things that can help your body strengthen your mind and vice versa. And then there's the spirit or soul, we'll call it whatever you want. But all these things need to be in some sort of agreement for your body to mind and spirit to kind of follow in a path that you're looking for. And that's what I'm really trying to do, is just help guide people on their journey and path best I can.
And we kind of danced around the subject, and you mentioned it. What is the hat that you're wearing? What is DAV?
So that's the Disabled American Veterans Organization. They have a convention coming up May 15th through the 18th of this year. Actually, it's going to be in Irvine. It's open to any veteran that wants to come. And you're basically going to learn what DAV does is it's a 102-year-old organization. They are a 100% volunteer organization that helps veterans obtain their disability and service-connected disability benefits. So if you are looking to get your benefits and actually sit down with a VSO, a veteran service officer, this person can actually help you start your packet, start your pre-checklist, tell you all the things you need to do with scheduling appointments and paperwork, so you can actually get your benefits or get your benefits increased, or at least get a 0 rating. And of course, I'm sure everybody on the show knows exactly what disability benefits does for us. It's free money from the government to allow us to have a better quality of life, but also compensating you for anything, diseases, ailments, or things you might have, tinnitus, GERD, anything wrong with your bones and joints. your eye, vision, brain, PTSD. I mean, all these things. There's a doctor who can tell you. There's a page, which I don't know off the top of my head, you can go to. It tells you all the rules. So if you have anything on that list, reach out to DAV. And how can I help give you the number? I guess that's something else we could do. I work with the DAV Chapter 12 in San Bernardino. So that's just happens to be a chapter I'm part of.
And how do you collaborate with them, or what do you do?
It all started with providing free video services. So yes, Image One Camera and Video is a company that I'm the marketing director here. And so what we do is we do programs that allow nonprofit organizations. Once a year, I choose a program and we go out and we give them free video and editing services. And why did I do it? Because I wanted to document what this chapter was doing. And the commander there of Chapter 12 DAV, his name's Jose Mendoza. Phenomenal individual. He was a cook in the Navy on a ship. And this guy just has a huge heart to help people. And he runs a food pantry at DAV, Chapter 12 in San Bernardino. He also does a community garden where everybody can show up and they can garden. And it's just a place for everybody to get together. They have a prayer meeting once or twice a week there. They've got SB 34, something like that. If you guys are into cannabis, they'll hook you up with that. If you want to go ahead and meet people, like I was just at an event with George Lopez the other day at a golf tournament because we're going to be part of the SB Awards too. We just had DAV all over UFC recently. DAV is coming a long ways in modernizing itself. And so part of what I'm doing is helping to document this progression and evolution so we can reach a broader audience. And the only way we can do that is through video. So I offer these services free of charge for the last 2 years now. They've been able to spread the message throughout national. And then, like I said, the convention's coming up in May from the 15th to the 18th. And it's open to any veteran that wants to come. They can reach out to me or Jose. You guys come on over and learn about your benefits.
I use the DAV to get my my VA disability process through. So if you're about to transition out of the military, we tell everybody, hey, and I'm going to run on a really quick spiel right now because I think it's necessary. If you're getting out of the military, every 2 years before you get out, you should be going through your process. And 2 years is going to get you looking at the checklist. It's going to get you looking at the classes that you need to attend, but it's also going to have you finding shows like this one, the best veteran podcast out there, I have to say. It's going to have you finding cool applications like MYTT 365 app, where you can actually start planning and organizing not just your transition, but also the transition for your spouse, because your spouse is also going through the transition as well. And who knows how well veterans, or actually service members who actually are going to medical and stuff like that, how good are we at communicating all of that to our spouses? I'll tell you right now, not good at all. So that's why MYTT 365 app also has the spouses stuff on there, so they also know what's going on, so that way they can be a part of the transition, because it's an entire family unit that goes through there. So sorry, man, that's my little spiel that I love to share with people. But yeah, dude.
And to clarify, QR code is right here. So scan it, go to the MYT 365, right? We don't get anything for it. We just love to share it because it's a great tool that we found ourselves during our transition process through the San Diego Veterans Coalition, and they're part of the creators of this app. And as Chris mentioned, it is a for the service member, for the family. Amazing information. Amazing information.
Yeah. Bro, thank you for coming on here, man, and sharing, dude. Like, we really do appreciate it. Like I said, man, it's the someone out there is going to resonate with what you have, your story of transitioning out at 17 years, bro. That's gonna hit somebody out there. And usually people that are in that period of time, they're in a world of like, what am I doing? Like, it's 3 more years and I retire, but no, I'm getting out. Like, that they're going through something, and maybe they'll hear your story where you didn't get your your benefits right away, and they're going to hear that and they're going to not repeat the same mistake. So
Right.
thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for sharing all that, brother.
You're welcome, man. Thank you. It's awesome. It's good seeing you guys again.
Same. And next time, I mean, you're more than welcome to invite us to the George Lopez convention. You
Yeah.
know.
He had a golf tournament. So it was great. Yeah, it was a
Right,
lot
right,
of
Yeah.
right.
lot of famous
Yeah.
people over there, man. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all for a good cause. He's doing it for the awareness. I think he had his liver transplanted or kidney transplanted, so it's his foundation. And so we were there just kind of helping support them and trying to invite. Well, and that's the other thing. If you come to the convention, not saying he's going to be there, but we had about 25 actors, actresses that we had invited. That's why we were at his event. And so they may show up to convention if, cross our fingers if they're able to make it. Yeah. Even, like, I don't know if you guys watch the show, The Mayans. Yeah. One of those, the main star, he might be there. There's a couple others, but it was like, so it was like last week. So I'm already on to the next
That's super
thing.
cool,
Yeah,
man.
brother.
No, that's super cool. I
Yeah.
wanted to highlight that.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Do you
though.
have any
Appreciate it.
do you have any last thoughts, Marco?
Last thoughts. Other than just don't fall away from not trying to reach out. I think we're such a small community, veterans as a whole, and when we see someone else out there that we can resonate with, or just offer a helping hand or whatnot, just lift a veteran up always whenever you get a chance. And that's not just for veterans, of course, it's for everybody, but especially those guys, because I'm gonna tell you right now, myself included, I don't always feel like I'm 100% appreciated by the state or the government or even people. I mean, that could just be all in my head, which is fine, but it also could be the truth. I don't know. All I know is what I've experienced and the barricades and barriers I try to get through. And it's like, why does it have to be so hard? If I was a veteran, you really care about me. Give me what I want. Give me what I need. Why are my brothers and sisters suffering and they're homeless, or why do we need food shelters and pantries and stuff like that in the first place? Because there's just too many of us that are suffering and need help. So, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing. So help a veteran when you can.
Yeah. What's a shame, and sorry, Yogi. Um, I know what's a shame is if these veterans were all able to actually go and get their benefits taken care of, we wouldn't have a single homeless veteran. There's no reason why there should be ever a homeless veteran. And yeah, there's no reason. There's no reason for it. So thanks for
Homeless or
sharing that,
hungry.
bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you. That was amazing. I hope all is well with you. You guys have a great weekend.
Hey, Marco, and again, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your experience. We'd love to have you back on the show, and then share more of what your news and your upgrades and everything that's going on, and also, you know, how we can help our community be better, right? Um, Again, thank you again. Thank you for your son for being awesome. And without further ado, thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Everybody, you heard Marco's story. 17 years in the Marine Corps. He talked about his whole entire process of getting out, dude. He dropped some awesome nugget bombs. Please put a comment in there. What really spoke to you? What resonated? And make sure that you guys share this with a veteran, share this with a brother, share this with a sister that's about to go through the transition. Together, we are stronger. All right. Mil2Vet tribe. It's not all rainbows and unicorns out there. It's your
Yeah.
transition. Take charge of it. Mil2Vet out.
Peace.